Okay, something has been brought up a few times on Andria puharich. Andria puharich. I call it start of the Hutchison effect, sorta. Okay, and I know I look ridiculous, but that's fine with me. Okay, so I want to make this video because I get a few questions, comments, and other people doing things. So anyway, let me get started here. Okay, so Andrea puharich, Alec Pizarro, and Mel Winfield before George Hathaway, Billy Ross. I got known basically through Mel Ernest Winfield. I was at my parents' house with Billy Ross, who actually did a study on my effects and mentioned it in a document he wrote up himself, actually typed it out. And I still have it. First effects kind of thing, you know. Okay, so Billy Ross, I met. He's a transgender person and he had an operation. That later on. Okay, so then Mel Winfield, we met actually at Winfield's place a long time ago. 1980 or before that, I don't know. But anyway, and Mel was highly interested in what I was doing, and he one day came over and taped one of the effects. I don't know where that tape is, but he met up with Alex Pizarro, and when I was looking after my parents' house with Billy Ross, they showed up and spent hours along with Andria Sakharov. Not Sakharov, sorry, I get them both mixed up. Puharich. Andrea Puharich. And we went over, as Billy stayed behind, looking after the cats. We went over and saw the equipment turning on at Murphy's house, 1458 29th Street, Lynn Valley, North Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. And well, Alex Pizarro was there. We had went back to my parents' house and we had a long talk for many hours. Then Alex started coming around again, and Puharich then left for, I believe, to the USA. I'm not certain, but he was quite an interesting gentleman at the time. Talking about all these just things with things that vanish in shipyards and that kind of stuff. And in a video that he made, or somebody made of him, interview, he does mention he's going up to Canada to see me. So that's in a video that I uploaded, and I can find it on my YouTube. But okay, so that's my involvement with Andria Puharich. Then Alex Pizarro brought people around, as well as New Winfield. Then there was a symposium on new energy in Toronto, Canada. And I think that's where George met George Hathaway, and Mel Winfield presented everything to Hathaway. And when Hathaway found out it was me, not Mel Winfield doing the stuff, then he eliminated, wrote out Winfield. But getting back to Puharich, also I had letter contact with Dr. Elizabeth Ann Rocher, and Puharich and Rocher were working together on certain things as well. And I met Elizabeth Ann Rocher a number of times over the years, and very interesting lady. Met her at Nevada State University as well. But anyway, things happened. I moved off to Germany, actually by invitation by Dr. Peter Kokoschnik. A number of years, but a lot of things have gone on. But anyway, so Dr. Rocher moved to the J.R. Reynolds III estate along with Puharich and her husband, William Van Weiss, as I'm told. And she lived in Arizona, Scottsdale area. As time passed, boy did it pass too, holy jumping. Whatever happened to Andria Puharich, he passed away at the J.R. Reynolds estate as well as J.R. Reynolds passed away too. And Elizabeth Rocher and Andria Puharich and her husband, William Van Weiss, were left there. And the family, according to Dr. Rocher, of the estate was coming around with guns and trying to scare these people away. I can't tell you if Puharich was alive or not, but I got wind and word of it through, I think it was Rocher. Phone message. This is going a number of years from the 80s. Holy mackerel. Also met Gene Manning, a journalist, who wrote up a lot of things on me and that kind of stuff. But anyway, we're good friends to this day. They're in deep trouble, okay, and they need to get back to Arizona. And I thought of contacting her friends down at Stanford University, William Tiller, who is a friend of mine as well, and others down there, D. Scott Rogo and many other scientists. And he sent me a letter and that kind of stuff. Well, what's happening to Dr. Rocher and this stuff? And over the phone, as well as a letter, he sent a check, which I forwarded to J.R. Reynolds' estate area, or a P.O. box, something like that. So some time passed, they made it back to Scottsdale, Arizona area. When was that? 2000 and... somewhere in 2000, I don't know. Sort of naughty, crazy. I had a phone, I was in the apartment at the time. I don't know the exact date on that, but I met up with a lady, Helena, in Scottsdale by phone and I got married to her, by the way. That didn't last long because there was other things going on, dramatic things. And Rocher would phone me up and talk to me, tell me some of the story of Puharich, the horror stories that you went through. At that time, I was with Gordon Novell, who stayed with us in Scottsdale because he's moving from Louisiana to California. Many years later, I met up with him too there. But we were working on a project, alien spacecraft designs and that kind of thing. I think we talked about Puharich as well. Anyway, I got divorced from Helena because she tried to control me, kind of thing, like don't do this, dress this way, be religious. Anyway, on that note, I took a taxi to PHX Airport back to Vancouver. And, oh, wow, this is epic stuff. Because I met Dr. Rocher a number of times in the 90s and in the 2000 time period and all that stuff. But, then as things kept happening, and I was working with Gordon Novell and other people. I did the Jesse Ventura True TV thing and a few other shows, but I'm getting around to it. So as time passed, other adventures happened. Dr. Rocher stayed with us for a month. And we go over my papers, and she ordered them, put them in order and that kind of thing, and metal samples. And in the evening time, I always would take her out to the cliff on the Sika Road, and we'd watch the ocean and the tide. And she's in a wheelchair by then. I have a nice picture of her, and there's a video of us. I interviewed her. That's on the hard drive. So, wow. She'd mentioned Puharich a number of times in her dealings and her experiments in plasma research. I mean, kind of my head's cut off, isn't there? Then she left and passed away later on. She was on a lot of medication too. But in Scottsdale, we used to talk on the phone, and she would say, "Gordon Novell's here," and we'd talk quite a while about other things and many other different projects and stuff like that. So that's kind of the way things went on the history of puharich, going way back with Mel Winfield, Alex Cicero, and Billy Ross. My other girlfriend would know this. Ian, her name is. I won't mention any last names, but she would know about Billy Ross. But Winfield was very determined to aggravate later on Hathaway through his buddies, kind of doing a Donald Trump thing, I suppose. I don't know. But Winfield was kind of. He appears in a TV show with me. It was Northern Mysteries, the Hutchison effect. You can look it up online. It's uploaded. And explains what he's doing. And Dr. Anna Markowski also appears, and some others appear. But, so that's covering a broad band spread, so I call it, area of puharich, Andria Puharich and Mel Winfield. Mel had the Aquarian Universology Institute on Davie Street, and that's where I met him. That's where the fire started, I suppose. Fire meaning the birth of the H effect, as it was named by George Hathaway, not me. I just mentioned, because Billy Ross and I went into Mel Winfield's lecture, listening to him and that kind of thing. He talked about weird stuff similar to what I was doing. Then after that lecture ended, I started talking about what I was doing, reproducing Tesla's work and others' work. That got him highly interested, and that's when he started to come over to 1458 East 29th Street and showed up at 3045 Crescent View Drive, North Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, at my parents' house. And I presume Alex met Hathaway later on. How long ago? Probably a year later, maybe less. I don't know. Holy mackerel. But puharich was very laid back, kind of like, but very intense sometimes. Talking about his adventures with physics and that kind of stuff. So, recent questions have come up about the Hutchison effect. So I thought I'd go back to the beginning of it, because I wasn't parading around talking about it. It was just, to me, a private thing, and who would be interested in this old stuff, kind of attitude. But it sure, they started coming. Word leaked out into the media, and then I was doing that TV stuff, interviews, and then it led into Fox TV, NBC, and all the other main networks, and they've gone on and on and on. But Gordon Novell passed away as well. We interviewed him. I uploaded his interview that Nancy took of him and myself, Gordon Novell, 2012, was it, or 10? But Gordon Novell passed away as well. So all these videos are out there on people's websites or YouTube channels. Oh, wow, sure covered that, didn't I? I wrote it up to send to a certain person that was doing something with it for some reason. But anyway, I wanted to cover it by video because I'm a very bad typer. A non-cooperating iPad 2 that makes mistakes. I don't know what's wrong with it, but it keeps working. It does still videotape, and I have a brand new one I should get fixed. Meaning not fixed, but put all my data into it so it works like this one. But when it comes to computer stuff, I get tired and I get bored. It's like when I have to go through a song and dance to get back on Facebook. Well, no, sometime later maybe, I don't know. But since I'm on this, then you might want to clip it on the history of things. Because I tend to wander on and on and on and on, don't I? So I'll label this beginning of the H effect, I guess. Amazing what one tiny little walk down Davie Street into Mel's lecture shop presented. He also gave me a Van de Graaff generator, a big one. Then I went to art metal spinning machine shop and got a huge one made. And where did I get the money from at that? I don't know. Well, money seemed to carry very far back then. It wasn't that costly. Then I made money through selling scrap metal to the scrap yards, which I visited quite often. And visiting still now, just acquiring goodies and things I need. For things I need, I'm a collector, okay? I'm not a scientist or inventor. I collect things, okay? And I do things with them. And I read, study vintage electrical, mechanical, engineering stuff and all those things. So, like studying Tesla, I wanted to reproduce it. It fascinated me, so. The effects just weren't, just accidentally dropped out of my mouth, I guess, or Billy Ross's mouth. He would sit there and watch different things happen. I wrote it all up, and I still have his write-up. Kind of like how Tom Sky dropped in and filmed everything. 2008, I think. But 89, 91. Because Japan, I was in Japan for months, a couple of months. Each time I went, 93, I think 94 and 95. And the media people covered the whole thing, and I got all those videos too. As well as even in Germany and USA. I don't mind talking to people and doing shows. It doesn't bother me, and it pays well, and it's a lot of fun to do. To me, it's fun, really. I'm not out to prove anything. It's up to the scientists to figure it out. I'm just a basket case, kind of person. I just like what I'm doing, creating things all the time. The same with the power cells. I learned a lot from other people, and Hal Pudov and others, plus Morey. T. Henry Morey was a bit of an inspiration using transistors in the 20s. Of course, when I investigate things, I go through it all, like the warships taught me a lot about the crystal unit converters and system for sonar. Jesus, Willikers, like, wow, this is out of the sonar room, these handles. And painted, were painted, but worn off because X-Files wanted everything in dark color. Anyway, so I examined everything, take it all apart, and put it back together. My job on the Navy ships for 5 years was cleaning everything. The artillery had to be cleaned, oil run out, hazardous materials put in oil drums, and sealed oil drums. So I take everything apart, get the valuable metals out, which took a year. Each ship was about a year-long project, and then all the electronics, I did the same. And the only payment I said I wanted, well, what do we pay you? No. I got lots of money, I did. I had $250,000 from Japan, and getting more money later on, of course, from other people. But I built the power units, and the people would come and pick them up, test them, get them tested at the Kyoto Institute of Technology, Mr. Ojiwara. I have all the paperwork on these things, so don't ask me how I make them. I'm not interested. Thanks. I might someday mention it, but to me, people picking my brain, it's very monotonous, and I really don't like computer stuff or writing and typing and all that stuff. I must say that Goodfellows Company and Serac were actually very helpful in making these crystal wafers. that were copied from some were copied from a sonar system on HMCS Saskatchewan, I believe, because they're a self-powering system they had. And yes, the military does have battery replacers, by the way, as confirmed by an agent in um, Ireland a long time ago by phone, because I mentioned it. And I presented to DARPA, and I filled out the forms wrong, so I thought, well, what the heck, I'm on the SBIR program, Small Innovative Program, Small Business Innovative Program, Star Wars program, so why not submit something? See what happens, but no, but I receive their publications all the time. 83 to 2005, and then I went digital, DTIC, check it out on the internet, Google search it. But I sure met a lot of interesting scientists and film people too. Even Paris Hilton got involved with Gordon Novell. I have all those emails. Gordon and Paris Hilton, and Paris Hilton was on her MTV program. Um, B BFF. I got videos of myself on that program. I got pretty close to winning something, but I met Paris a long time ago in LA because the shows that aired. It's kind of uncanny feeling when you walk outside and somebody wants your autograph. It's like, what the hell? Jesus Christ. And I'll be back in a minute. I'm talking away here, so I don't know how long this stupid video will be, but you can have to clip it, I guess, or edit it if you want the info on puharich. I just keep going, rambling on like a lunatic, huh? Alright, I'm back. Hi. So in the beginning I made this video is some of the history on puharich, and I wander off course, but that's the way I am. You might want to just keep the section where I talk about that, or write it up, or whatever. Oh, okay, so one of the greatest fun things I was doing is working on those warships. I'd be doing it again, too. The effect and all that free energy stuff is not a big, for me, not a big deal. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So, but I do feel I owe it to certain people, like Colonel Alexander and others. Within the present, seeing something dramatic happen, which I was trying to do with that iron block. One of many weird things I'm trying to do. But it did work for the film people. What show was it? I don't know. I gotta look through all the tapes, and I haven't got. I was looking through the tapes and filming it with this iPad, actually, on black and white TV set. a VCR and a black and white TV set. I made some videos. I didn't make. I mean, I could film it off the TV set. That takes you down a whole memory lane thing of things you didn't even realize that happened. And happily, the television people gave me copies of the show, what to have up on the shelf. I mentioned other videos, but I uploaded those too to this crazy channel. Oh, I got a lot of comments doing this stuff. Once a long time, one is negative, but most of them are happy comments. Acting this way, it doesn't bother me any. Express yourself. What I do. Oh, when did I start doing this? Let me think. I think 2013, I think. Oh, anyway. But I used to do it non-videotaping myself. But that's like laughter is the best medicine, or express yourself right. Another lunatic. There's a psychopath, by the way, Donald Trump. He's expressing himself in the most unusual way. Anything he says is not true. It's amazing that a man like him can even run for trying to be president. And I found out Fox News loves him. They're on his side, so. There's a man that's gone insane. I classify him as criminally insane. And I don't think he'll be president. People are waking up slowly, very slowly, to what nasty things he did do. So I guess next week he'll be thrown in jail or house arrest. Who knows? These judges are crooked as well. Interesting times. So the Donald is really insane. Dangerous psychopath. So many things, bad things. I don't do bad things, and I don't believe in doing anything harm to anybody. He's done a lot of harm to a lot of people. But let's leave that alone. It's a topic of politics, and I hate that kind of shit. It's fun to watch. For some reason, I watch the history of Adolf Hitler. Same fascination as Trump and Hitler. Of course, Hitler tried to form something, United Reich or something, but it got caught in that one. But, as I said, no point in talking about him. Yeah, I smoke cigarettes. I enjoy it. I take a lot of life extension products. So I sort of neutralize the effects with other effects. I've been doing life extension vitamins megadoses since 1990. Oh, was it 91? Looking on that form I signed for the ATF. It said 91, September 91, wow. I thought it was 89 or 90, but anyway. That's when I returned from Germany. Lived on Skid Row for 2 weeks until I got a decent place to... No, that was before. Gee, I got that mixed up. I was on as in a nut house when they wanted me to go away from there, so... What is my condition? I was agoraphobia. Phobic anxiety. So I learned how to deal with it. So time for my dad to come and get my radio equipment in the hospital, and guns, by the way, in the hospital. Guaranteed. You can talk to my lawyer about it. R. Flynn Marr. He'll confirm that. I like to confirm everything because people think I'm crazy, so crazy that I make all these stories up, you know. You nuts out there in YouTube world must realize that making stuff up can get in a lot of trouble. Just like John Searle, Paul Pantone, and a dozen other nutcases out there. I don't make things up. I want it proved, tested, and stamped. Because you can get in a lot of trouble faking and things and especially in the free energy world. Wow. I always made my units, power units, for the client to do whatever they want with it. I didn't preach about it, but I was interviewed about it a number of times. Because they want to know what else I'm doing. I said, well, I make these power units for clients. So Japan got at least 5 units. And when my sponsor returned some years later, he said it's still running. He wanted me to return to Japan. But I haven't heard from him for years. My other client is most likely will visit here and talk about the good old days. I got him on video too. Richard Brewer, he had to go back to England for Dad's health. We worked together and presenting it to the Canadian government. These power units I built are pretty big, and some smallest ones may be that long. And if you're interested, check out it's all on the internet. So it's got for a lot of Japanese videos and German videos. Isn't that right? Oh, guess who showed up here? Well, who are you? You're the foreman. So what do you think? Tell me what you think, young dog. You're gonna tell me what you think? Really? Are you a good boy? Tell me what you want to do. Oh, really? So I was telling the audience some history about somebody. What's your history? You got about 1.5 years now, haven't you? Hmm? You just wanted to jump up and give me a big kiss. You're so cute. You tell him off. What do you think of your friend here, your fellow? I'm a human. You're a dog or an animal, I guess. And what do you think? You think I'm crazy? Do you think I'm totally nuts? Please tell the truth. What? Oh, you're doing your nibbling again. Oh dear. What do you think of this thing? Evio, look, that's a wheel. Off X-Files set. Part of the ship. So what do you think when I change my style of hair and other things, huh? You seem to know who I am. Mr. Nibbles, I presume. What caught your attention? Come here, come here. Oh, come here. This little guy follows me around in here all day long, kind of. He sleeps, he gets up, and he does this kind of stuff. I give him a big kiss, hold him, and play ball with him. He loves playing ball. Where's your ball, Evio? Go get your ball. Go get your ball. Where's your ball? What? What? Where's your ball? I don't have it. Where's your ball? Not in there. It's around. Now he's going under the cargo container. He loses some of them under there, you know. So what? No, there's no ball under there. What he likes doing is hiding his ball. He drops it in water, drops it in the toilet, drops it in garbage cans, puts it under the cargo container, and starts barking. And he wants me to go up for it. I think I need a breast enhancement. I'll create a negative comment. Or a good one. I got a lot of nice comments. The Queen has spoken. Oh, anyway, I'm talking a long story, aren't I? Oh well. Hopefully whoever wants to have this information can edit. So these units, got a number of them, as many as I could get. Very heavy little tiny things off of the warships. 3-inch 70 cannon, autocannon. The engineering in this stuff is amazing. They use a lot of Vaseline on the ship's parts. Trying to read that. Let's see if I can read it, huh? Clean off the grease, though. Wow. Still a bit dirty, though. It should say minutes. Yeah, minutes. So we're about 8 of these on every 3-inch 70. This would be checking the accuracy levels of the movement of the cannons up and down, sideways, and around. So a very heavy piece, like a solid block, and it probably is. I'm still recording. I am. Like that's how they built stuff. These are knobs for the sonar system, right? Solid, heavy brass. But now, with the all electronic computer junk stuff. Sorry, but I don't like that stuff. Boy, that paint comes right off. Very interested to go to the trouble of making a shade darker gray paint for the Dodcom and Endgame. Not Mackenzie, it was Columbia. Electronic equipment handles. I got some units here that are like this too. All solid brass. As I said before, I'm going to be making something. Control. Just hopefully got enough space to put all this on that piece of aluminium plate. If not, oh well, I'll figure something out. What's holding up the iPad now is the switch, the yellow switch. Now time to act silly, although I think I've already acted. Are you sleeping, EVO? Oh, he's laid down. Mr. Evo's laying down there. I thought you were going to play ball. Whoop! I'm pulling on cords. That ain't going to work so good. Well, I'm stretching. I've been in the armory and trying to find these parts. That'll be my armory adventure video. That's 15 minutes long. I mean, start wondering about how crazy I am. I got stuff going back to when I was living at my parents' house. Because there was a gun dealer behind my parents' house about half a mile away. On 20th in North... Tom Bongallis, who I haunted his place all the time. And Rendell Parrot Electronics, and so on, and so on, all the scrapyards, and all the metal, and go on and on, repeating yourself, Mr. Hutchison. Or Carla Connection, or whatever you want to think you are. Anyway, I should shut up and do some work. What do you think? Yeah, so I'll guess let's write this. Name this video history. And please cut it off or edit it if you want. Only history. Can I go on and on and on and on? I'm showing off because I lift physically active so much of the time. I can take a 100-pounder and radio it. Like that. So my knee is a lot better. Thank God to the hospital and the good doctor, Bowen. His office just next door too, but he operates only in the hospital, not here. So my knee is. I notice it's still warm. I don't know if that's because I'm using it a lot, because I do a lot of bending down and lifting things. On that note, I think I should shut up. What do you think? Alright, I'll shut up.